All right, so before we get started, I just want to state with the clip that I have for you, feel free to respond or to write a comment specifically on that clip because again I know that a lot of people tend not to listen to the rest of the video. So let me know your feelings specifically about that clip, and if any of you guys happen to watch the clip and then listened to even a portion or the whole thing of my observation on the whole thing. Let me know what you feel about that as well. Agree, disagree, indifferent, or whatever. In the comment description below. Thank you.
Vote for? Let me ask you a question. Would you vote for?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm gonna just be real honest with this. She's a black woman.
Yeah.
Because
Do you think it
they
goes back
skin folk,
to
not
what
Kim folk.
I
Hey,
think it goes back to what somebody was saying, where it's not voting for someone, but majority will vote for somebody
again.
else just
Hold on,
as
wait. Hold on. Let me mind this out.
I
Is it
think majority.
only because she a black woman?
Yeah.
Do you not see how that's a bad idea?
Elaborate.
Okay, so we're in 3 proxy wars with some of the most powerful leaders in the world. She failed at the border, in which we have an estimation of 15 to 20 million people illegally into this country. That is literally overtaking and bankrupting Chicago to the tune of over $400 million per year, and they're in a deficit. Oakland is going out of business. San Francisco ditto. California, $65 billion deficit. New York, they're literally cutting trash, in which they are the rattiest, dirtiest city, and they've taken up resources as far as free healthcare, free hotels to the tune of $600 a day. They're literally taking over your schools. Your taxpayer dollars are going to fund the migrant crisis. She was supposed to be in charge of this. We have a failing economy. Every single day I see people getting on the internet talking about $30 an hour is the new minimum wage because inflation is fucking out of control. At one point, it was at almost 10%, depending on what city that you in. She has no policy, no record to stand on. One of the biggest things that she did in her career was lock up more black men than ever before. But we sitting here and vote her in office on identity politics. The very person that she was under as far as the president of the United States of America, she called him racist during a debate, which shows you how fake she is. And the only thing that we can stand on from a policy perspective is whether or not she's black and she's a woman. We did that during the Obama administration, and he didn't do anything for black people. As a matter of fact, y'all complain because the only person that he did, or the only group of people that he really stood for, is the alphabet community, and that's his landmark thing that he's still standing on today. So the only thing that we have to stand on is identity politics. That shit didn't work with Tiffany Henyard in Dayton, Illinois. It didn't work with Karen Bass. It didn't work with Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. It didn't work with Brandon Johnson that then took over her position in Chicago. It didn't work with Andre Dickens in Atlanta. It didn't work with Eric Adams in New York. It doesn't work across the country. Every single Democratic city is a hellhole. And we sitting here talking about identity politics?
Now, let me just start this off by being honest, because, like I said, I like to be as transparent as possible if I'm giving, critiques. When I was younger, right, early 20s, when Obama was running, me and my friends, we all were like, yeah, we're going to go out there and vote, first, black man in office. Realistically, it was actually the second, historically speaking, unofficially. But we were like, yeah, we're going to, sit up there and vote. We're going to be rolling up to the polls. And it was about 6, 7 plus of us. We all literally packed into, my friend's car, and we went out to vote. And that was for us during that time, being as young as we were. That was a very proud moment, right? And that was something that for us, we would never get a chance to see. Something imagery wise, right? Imagery wise, something you'll never get a chance to actually see, more than likely within, your lifetime. Even, my grandparents, that was something that they were told that they would never get a chance to see. You're not going to see anybody different, right, in office. You're not going to see anybody with melanin in office. That's never going to happen. You'll never be president. Da, 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 all of that stuff, right? But again, I want to specifically state that's when I was young, right? You have women now who are 30s, 40s, and you have some online and other places stating that they are purely just voting for Kamala Harris because she is a black woman. Now, there's an excuse to be given to people who are younger because people are young, people are ill informed, people will go off of things dealing with emotions and, stuff like that. Again, like I said, being honest, being transparent, that's what I did, right? And if further research would have been done, I more than likely would have held my vote or voted differently, right? Just being honest. And of course, hindsight is 2020. You're looking at everything that transpired. What specifically took place with the black community when we were able to vote somebody who, in a sense, quote unquote, looks like us. Nothing happened. But yet you had things happen for other nationalities, other groups of people, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on, right? But the people that were left last who helped to get said person in the office didn't receive pretty much anything, right? So now we're coming in with the Biden administration. And as I told you guys before, and I stated to a lot of people, and this was before the election, I told people, like, hey, be very careful what it is that you do with your vote because if however this goes, you're going to be the ones that are going to be to blame. And I made sure to specifically state this, but I made sure to specifically state it to the black women directly out there to at least give a warning, to let people know and understand. And what inevitably happened was that Biden did get elected. And the main thing that he did was that he made sure to let black women know, like, hey, thank you. I appreciate, you guys going around and really, pushing for me door to door and grassroots style, yada, yada, yada. Right. And you saw black women on the screens, cheering, holding up their little girls and black women all across the board, proud of that moment, proud of that achievement, proud of that accomplishment because they rolled out, they showed up, and they got that done. They got Biden directly into office. But now, when you happen to look, and if anybody were to ask a lot of black women right now, what has Joe Biden specifically done for you? And the main thing that I wanted to point out throughout the earlier years is the fact that the black women that did the utmost in order to help get him into office, it seems that they were left behind. You even had black women on, uh, you know, uh, uh, nationally syndicated news shows saying the exact same things that they feel like they have been forgotten or left behind once the Biden administration, Biden was in office, right? Because once he was in office, everybody else was able to get what it is that they wanted out of the situation. And black women were left, again, holding the bag. Just like with the feminist movement, when black women joined in, when, other people said that, hey, we're sisters, we're in this together, we're fighting our men together so we can all be equal, black women were left holding the bag because one rose to the top and black women just stayed directly at the bottom, right? So now this is the third time. And the same thing is happening here, where you have black women showing up. They're pulling up to the scene, and in some instances, black women have already raised $1 million for Kamala Harris. I'm pretty sure that you will see a lot of black women roll up to a lot of the polls, and they are going to show up with that vote in order to get her into office. Because again, this is something that a lot of women were told that they would never see. And it's not even just going to be, black women. You're going to have women all over wanting to see this, even though Kamala Harris does not specifically represent them. She is a woman at the end of the day. And this is something that a lot of women would like to see. This is something that a lot of women would like their little girls to be able to see in their lifetime, to be able to say that, hey, during my generation, we had the first female president ever in the United States, right? Again, accomplishment, achievement, going off of emotions versus going off of logic. And that's the main thing that kills a lot of votes. We tend to go for things emotionally versus logically, because when you got to be logical about things, you have to be serious. You have to do your due diligence. You have to, actually peel away that youth, that younger, you have to age, you have to pay attention, right? You have to actually tune in and be fixated on what it is that actually matters, and not just that, but also what matters in general when it deals or encompasses, the United States, when it encompasses the nation. What is in the best interest for the United States, for the borders, for the economy, for the healthcare, for the education system, for college debt, for the growth, for us to quote unquote still be a first world country, so that that's not in the sense that title is given over to, let's say, China, or so on and so on. What's in the best interest of making sure the United States dollar will be the United States dollar, right? And, like I said before, there's a lot of things that I don't think a lot of people are actually paying attention to or directly looking at this moment in time. People see the one dangling thing, which is a woman being the head of the free world. And for a lot of women, that's it. That's the end all to be all. They don't care about anything else. But then again, behind that, the main thing is, what is she going to specifically do for you? For a lot of the black women out there, if you decide to vote for Kamala Harris because she is a black woman, what are you going to get directly out of it? Because I could sit up there and tell you, when I decided in my young age, I wanted to vote for Obama because the first black male president, quote unquote, um, I didn't get anything out of it. I got something emotionally out of it, right? And I got those memories directly out of it. I got something I can tell, grandkids and stuff about. But realistically, real world, physically, what can I actually count on both hands that the black community received, other than some type of emotional, pacifying, type of thing? And I really can't give you anything. I can't. And that's just being honest. And me being honest and looking at my previous self, I'm giving out this message, hopefully, so that black women will do their due diligence. Don't just vote for Kamala Harris because she's quote unquote a black woman. Vote because you are adding up everything, and it seems like, hey, this person may be the best because of X, Y, and Z, because of the political stuff here, political stuff there, the things that she's done. Don't just go off of the color. Don't just go off of the fact that it is a woman that is there, because that's how they'll get you. That's how you'll get tripped up, because that's what happened to me. That's all I'm saying. Like I say, you're free to vote however it is that you want to vote. Just be educated when it is that you decide that you want to do your vote.